take that clutch L on the way out. We'll tell you why the Nuggets win over the Lakers is going to be the moment where everything changes. The energy is about to shift on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day, being an everydayer and making us your first listen Monday through Friday for all the different shows that we do here on the show. Appreciate you guys joining us wherever you get podcasts for free or at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets. We appreciate each and every single one of you being a part of our community. We also appreciate those who've chosen to join up for the Everydayer Club, where you could have found out pretty much everything about the game tonight because I told you everything in the scouting report. I nailed the scouting report, which is exclusive to the Everydayers Club. You get it in the Discord. I text it to you. If you sign up for the subtext program, you get it on our community board at Supercast. Just go to lockedonnuggets.supercast.com. If you want to join up, join the Nuggets fans hanging out in the Discord, having a good old time with the Nuggets win over the Lakers. Lots of great stuff. My name is Matt Moore. I've been covering the Denver Nuggets for 14 seasons, from CBS Sports to the Action Network to Fansided to Hardwood Paroxysm to the Denver Dig to Locked On NBA Daily and Locked On Nuggets. I'm joined by Ryan Blackburn from Mile High Sports. He does the Pickaxe and Roll podcast where you get deep dives all throughout the week on all things that are going in his head about the Denver Nuggets. Make sure to check out that show as well. On today's show, we will talk about the Nuggets win over the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to tell you why it was the moment I was looking for and why actually, despite the Lakers being absolute trash versus any team that has a pulse, this was exactly the game that the Nuggets needed. I'm fired up. Ryan Blackburn's fired up.
Oh, yeah.
This is my, I think, 10th show of the week. Let's get into it. Nuggets get the win tonight, 120-113 over the Los Angeles Lakers. I said this was going to be, I think, 120-117 or 122-117 was about where I think I projected this game. So I was pretty on point with this, give or take a couple buckets. There are a lot of stories, I think, to get to out of this game. If you want the overrider, I'm going to go ahead and squash the negative right now, because people are going to be like, well, the Lakers are bad. The Lakers are not bad. They're 12 games over 500. Well, the Lakers are bad versus good teams. That's true. But here's the problem. Denver has not had an opportunity to have a good moment versus a good team because of their injuries this season. Every time that they've had those, it's either been like a wackadoo, crazy, hey, we got 6 guys available and beat the Boston Celtics, or some sort of nonsense. This was a legit wire-to-wire victory for the Denver Nuggets, in which they started off hot. They held off a Lakers team. They won a game in the clutch. And you can talk all you want about like where the Lakers are, but here's the reality. They have LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves. They wanted this game. They pushed for this game, and the Nuggets won it. And they won it still without all of their forwards. No Aaron Gordon, no Cam Johnson, no Peyton Watson, no Spencer Jones. So without all those, they found a way to win this game. And the tactical adjustments they made were the biggest reason why I was impressed with this victory, Ryan. I think they learned a lot. This was a win that they learned a lot from, and they closed the game in clutch time. This was a 5-star win.
Look at that. They can do it. They have fun. They can play a complete game, enjoy themselves at the same time, and also just like play against a team that is successful. And like, look, this was a matchup that they've struggled with, right? Like, this is a matchup ever since the Luka Doncic trade. The Lakers have, I wouldn't say had the Nuggets number, but have certainly they've certainly to flip that narrative a little bit in terms of the stylistic issues that the Nuggets have had to face. And tonight was the most extreme in terms of, hey, we're going to go small. We are going to switch everything on Joker. We're going to pack the paint just like all these other teams. And it's on the Nuggets to figure out exactly how they're going to deal with it. And were they perfect at it? Hell no. They were not perfect at it. They made a lot of mistakes. Jokic had 9 turnovers, but he also made a lot of great decisions in this game. The Nuggets made a lot of great decisions in this game. The Nuggets made plays in this game around Jokic and Murray, and that was a big difference in this one. I really liked what I saw from a lot of different guys tonight, most notably Christian Brown operating on that baseline and operating in that dunker spot. That was something that Jokic was force-feeding all game, and it was sometimes successful and sometimes not. Julian Strother and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bruce Brown in the clutch, making plays, shooting the ball on the weak side was absolutely a huge thing when this Lakers defense was rotating over as much as they were. Jamal Murray got them off to a great start. Zeke Naji played some good defense in this game. The Nuggets bench was solid in this game. They weren't spectacular, but they certainly held their own. And Denver ultimately got it done because of a complete effort, despite the fact that with injuries, they are compromised.
The defense, once again, showed up. They played great defense in the first half of this game.
Yep.
And I honestly think that their defensive effort overall was really good in this game.
Getting back in transition was a struggle, but
because it was all of the turnovers.
It was a lot of turnovers and a lot of Jokic standing at the opposite free throw line.
Look, 116.5 offensive rating for the Los Angeles Lakers for a team that is this good offensively. That's honestly great. This was a much better performance than I was expecting tonight. I honestly thought that this had the capacity. I was like, if things go badly, the Lakers are going to put up like a 130. Yeah. So when you take away like the transition stuff and you actually talk about the half court defense, I'm gonna look it up on Cleaning the Glass, but this was like a really positive execution game. Jamal was better on his corner closeouts. Julian continues to really impress me with how good he is at keeping awareness on the weak side. It's such a simple thing and I honestly think he's breaking scheme a little bit where like they probably want him helping more. But I just love that Julian's like, well, I'm not going to go all the way over there. What am I going to do over there? Like, what am I going to do on the strong side? So he just keeps tabs on the weak side and closes out and forces an extra rotation. There were so many plays tonight where either Christian, Jamal, or Strother made rotations to the perimeter and forced a corner three to kick up, and then the Lakers missed an open three because those are lower percentage shots. You're taking away a better shot, and you're reducing the value of it because there is a guy closing out on the X out. One of the bad ones was Nikola when he got caught and when they ran a very complicated set. After Nikola picked up his third foul, the Lakers were basically like, we're going at Jokic every single time.
Yeah.
And they just that's how they got back into this game is they just went at Jokic every single time because Jokic couldn't do anything because he couldn't foul. Yeah. So, and it's not like Nikola's going to get a lot of stops anyway. So it was, that was, I think,
great strategy, Cotton.
Right. Bold strategy, Cotton. There was a lot about this game that I liked. I especially want to hone in on the first half because there kind of is this element of the Nuggets got off to an incredible start and then basically just held them off the rest of the way. Right.
I agree.
But that start matters for like how they played. And I especially want to single in on this because this was extremely notable to me. In the first half, okay, Nikola Jokic had 6 shots. 6. That's it. Jokic had 6 shots. That was all. He had 6 shots. And yet they were absolutely killing them. In the first half, they had a 133.6 offensive rating with Nikola Jokic on the floor, with him having had 6 shots.
I mean, the way that the game started, Matt, was a 11-0 run with Jamal Murray running off ball and using screens from Joker and them running in transition a little bit and playing really good defense, just locking in. It was very nice to see Denver overall, like they didn't force Joker. That was the most important thing with this. I talked about this on Pickaxe earlier, and I know you guys talked about it today on Locked On, a very good episode with you and Swiper earlier today. I think that the worst thing that the Nuggets can do is try to force the first pass to Jokic every single time when a team is fronting or when a team is playing bracket coverage or something of that nature. And what they didn't do tonight was force the first pass. If it was there, they got it to him. And that was great because it forced rotations, and then Jokic trusted the pass and other guys were rotating and doing the right things. It was great. But if it wasn't there, oftentimes the Nuggets were rotating the ball over to the weak side. And then there was a very specific play in the first half where Jamal rotates the ball over to Christian on the weak side, and then Christian smartly looks at where Jokic still is sealing his man, and because the defense has to rotate back, there was a wide open entry pass from that angle. And so you have to be patient in this case. You cannot force things. There's no way that you should be forcing entry passes. That is the worst possible thing you can do against a scrambling defense like this, because it causes mistakes and it causes the timing of things to be pretty bad. The team needs to be in a balanced situation in order to be able to take advantage of those rotations. So I really liked what I saw in the first half. Again, Jokic struggled in the second half, especially with some of the decision making. He even said that post game to me. But I do think that there's a lot there that Denver can learn from in terms of dealing with an undersized defense. I thought they did a really nice job of it tonight.
So the reason I bring up the 6 shots is because there is kind of this idea of whenever it struggles, Jokic got to be more aggressive. Jokic's got to do this. And I think that there are times when Jokic isn't as aggressive as he can be because he feels out the game too much. What I will say is the Lakers are amongst the teams that send the most help. I think the Thunder send this kind of coverage. I think the Wolves don't as much. The Wolves are a different kind of challenge. But this is very similar to what the Thunder do. And I actually think the Thunder copied a lot from what Redick showed in that game last year.
Yeah.
If you notice, one of the things that they will do is they flood the zone around Jokic. What I mean by that is whenever Jokic is in a deep post up, they are not doubling him when he's on the catch. They're waiting for him to turn into them. So when he spins, they're there. And what happens is, because they don't have a power forward, especially right now. And I asked Adelman about this after the game, and he was like, well, some of this is because AG's not there and it's a dunk if he's there. And it's true, because there are like these mechanisms, you've seen it, like the finale oop and those kind of things are part of this dynamic, but that's more in pick and roll. When Jokic turns out of the post, you do have the lob to Gordon, and it is there, but these teams are literally sending 4 guys. And then some of these possessions, it is 4 guys on the strong side of an empty side post up, right? And Adelman said, like, if they're going to do that, we have to swing it to the other side. And this is like the critical point, is that the best possessions tonight were either when they got Jokic face up, so he was able to see the entire floor. And so he was able to pick apart, like, oh, if you're going to take a step here, then I'm going to punish you immediately with a quick pass to the corner to Julian Strother, but Adelman said that his late 3 was the shot of the game.
Yeah.
Big night for Julian. Or you're going to be able to kick it up and over, and then you just run something weak side. And they generated good looks off of that consistently. When the Nuggets reverse the ball versus that coverage, they're getting open looks for 3. You just have to resist the urge to be like, we got to get the 2-man game going. We got to get the 2-man game going. We got to get Jokic a bucket. We got to get Jamal a bucket. Don't do that. If they're going to overload, if they're going to send 4 guys, and I thought this comment from Adelman was really insightful too, because one of the things he said was, we don't want you to cut if that's the situation, because you're just bringing the 5th defender in there. And that was where they ran into a lot of problems in this game with the post-ups, was that Jokic would make the pass to Christian Braun cutting out of the post when there's already 3 guys there. So now Christian's surrounded by 4 guys, and they're either stealing the ball, intercepting it, or blocking it. And that was what was driving me nuts, because every time that they reversed the ball, it was like, bang. And it's about trusting teammates. And this has been a hallmark of Jokic ball. When Adam Mares coined the phrase, the ball is popping, he was not referring to just let's pass back and forth between Jamal and Nikola and try and muscle our way through 4 guys. It's trusting your teammates. The important part of the ball being popping is that everybody trusts each other. And you got to be able to do that. And you have to break this defense. If they're going to send 4 guys at Nikola, punish them. You brought in shooters for this reason. You have Tim Hardaway Jr. Julian Strother is shooting well. Peyton Watson, when he gets back, has been shooting the freaking lights out from the corners. He has been awesome on that weak side reversal. Christian Braun was 2 of 6, but he still made 2.
Above the break 3s for Christian Braun.
And he still needs to keep making him.
Yeah.
That to me is like really important here. Can I do an aside, Ryan?
Sure.
Okay. Because there's a Laker fan that wants to comment. Y'all going to call out refs not giving Jokic his 5th, all 4th? Matt, do not bring your number 1 free throw rate bum backside selves for the last 2 years, having one of the widest disparities in free throw advantage in league history, into this chat. Do not bring in officiating. The only reason the Los Angeles Lakers are over 500 is the whistle they get. And everyone in the association knows it. All of the complaints about the Oklahoma City Thunder should be redirected towards the Los Angeles Lakers and how they're officiated. Do not bring that nonsense in here. The other reason I won't comment on that is you want to know why Jokic didn't pick up his 4th foul? It's because he stopped defending.
Yeah.
He just stopped guarding anyone. So guys were getting by him. All those Jackson Hayes lobs that I'm sure you were excited about, all a product of him not picking up his last foul. I do not want to hear about it. Never talk about officiating if you're a Lakers fan. There's 2 things you don't get to talk about: officiating and being a bandwagon fan. Those are the 2 things you don't get to talk about.
Oh man, we're tanking for 3 years. It's so hard. It's so hard to be a Lakers fan. It's just let's just go add LeBron.
I'm like, okay, you know, like the Lakers, yes, they haven't beaten anybody over 60% win percentage all year. They're 0-11. Sure.
What?
Yeah. But like there's some stuff in there, and like they are really good, and the offense really is elite. And like I was really marveling at LeBron tonight. Like I genuinely was. Like the explosiveness that he has at 41 is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. When he went down in that 4th quarter, I got a little nervous with how long he stayed down. Very like we didn't see the angle. We didn't have the angle. It was blocked by some people.
How does your brain handle this as somebody who thinks that everyone dies after 32?
Well, I don't have to think about that with LeBron because he's a superhuman robot. Like he's not an actual person. Like he's just an android at this point. So I don't have to worry about him aging because metal ages way slower than flesh.
Okay. I'm glad I got that out of my system. That was really nice because
Very
Anthony
cathartic.
Irwin, my buddy who does Lakers Lounge. I'm good friends with Anthony. I'm gonna actually talk to him for another show tomorrow. But he was like talking about like, you know, I think Jokic complains about the officials more than Luka, and I was like, look, man, I am captain. Like Jokic should shut up about the officials. But there are levels to this.
Yeah, there's a king and a god when it comes to complaining at officials, and those are the 2 levels.
The greatest whiner of all time. I have never seen anyone.
I have no idea. I have no idea how he picked up that tech today. Like it clearly after he thought he got hit and got fouled, but like apparently like people thought that he wasn't actually speaking to the ref when he got the tech, and that was why he was so adamant about why did I get this technical foul.
So here's what happened: is he said something while the Nuggets were on a break, they scored, and then they called the tech on him.
Oh, that was why. So it was in that process of like, they're waiting to call.
That's also just like this is your 15th one. It's not like you don't get any benefit of the doubt here, man.
You know, so I will give. Do you know how many techs Jokic has picked up this year?
No.
I'm going to say it's like 0 or 1. I do not think he has picked up very many technical fouls. Now, I think he gets a lot of leeway. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's not good. Now, I will say that there are, because Anthony was also talking about this. He was talking about like the magic word, and he was like, I'm sure Jokic cusses. And I was like, no, that's not the magic word. Like there's like a handful of magic words that if you call them this, you will go out. And one of them is about a female dog, and another one is about having relations with one's own family. And like there are certain phrases that if you use them, those are automatic. And that seems like Luka has like a lot of those. Jokic is probably just cursing at them in Serbian is probably what I would assume. And they just don't know.
That's French.
So getting back to my original point, I really love how they trusted. Now, when they got in trouble was late in the game when they started spamming 2-man action again. And I just like, this is one area where I do think 2-man game needs some refinement. They have gotten away from 2-man game as such a dangerous combination that it makes it impossible for them to defend 5-on-5. And it has become 2-man game is so dangerous. It has become impossible for them to defend it 2-on-5. And it's like, no, if you guard 2-man game with all 5 players and you do not pass to anyone else, it is not going to work. Like that's just not going. Now the Nuggets counter is maybe not 2-on-5, but when we have Aaron 3-on-5 might get it done. And I can't really argue with that because you have the dunker spot dunk all the time.
Yeah, it's one of the things that they are going to have to play around with in this lead up to the playoffs and figuring out who they trust within those lineups. Christian is going to be on the floor in all likelihood for defensive purposes, and as somebody who can cut into the dunker spot and then hit the occasional 3. You made mention earlier today that when Christian catches the ball, when he flashes to the paint and then rotates the pass away rather than having like a catch and shoot jumper
Mhm.
or something of that nature. That could be the next step of his development and something that he provides to sort of offset some of that pressure that those two guys are facing.
I thought about asking about that, but it just sounds so stupid coming from me to be like, "Hey, so I got an idea for how you, professional basketball player, could be better." Can I give you
Matt Moore has a question about your game.
Yeah, can I give you a tip here,
yeah.
Christian? Like that's like the stupidest thing imaginable. But
Why
I
don't you
do think
try this.
Yeah, but I do think really it is a problem though, because when he flashes, Adam has talked about this, that they run the same actions in their same sets. And so like that's the sequence is Christian flashes middle. And the idea is like Christian flashes middle, and so the defense helps. But instead, what happens is Christian flashes middle and catches it, and the defense stands there like, what are you gonna do? Like,
How many times have you seen Aaron flash middle and hit that jumper?
A lot.
A lot. Like that will be the safety valve.
And to be fair, and I do like Peyton in that situation as well. And coming into the season, I would have loved Cam Johnson in that situation. He has not been able to find the rhythm on it, and that's a problem. And another reason why Cam has been a disappointment. So I think. Oh, by the way, that gentleman also wants to note that the Nuggets had more free throws.
They doubled him up.
So one, I do not think the Denver Nuggets get a bad whistle. I think the Denver Nuggets get a very good whistle, and I argue with Nuggets fans consistently. Hey, you heard him complain as much. You guys get a really good whistle anyway. Two, you lost your starting center 4 minutes into the game and did have to play a very, very small lineup for the remainder of the game versus a team that is very big and has a very, very large band. And three,
Rui played more minutes at the 5 than the 4 tonight.
Like, and three, my more general point is just like you can't do this. Like this is how you win games. Is like the officiating. That's how the Lakers win. Like it just is. It just is. Okay, so Julian, first 3 months, Julian, Strawther Island. I was like, I mean, it wasn't necessarily like I was being foreclosed on because no bank wanted it. They were just like, you can just keep it and watch the water take it. Like we hope you drown on Strawther Island. I was clinging to a coconut tree.
Yeah.
And trying not just debating how had my life come to this on Strawther Island. And now we are flourishing. We just opened a smoothie shop. We just passed regulation against cryptocurrency. It's been amazing. The fiefdom of the growing fiefdom of Strawther Island is flourishing.
Yeah.
You, as somebody who I don't think has ever really was not high on Julian coming into the year, you were understandably giving me the look that I often give you about various players whenever Julian would have a terrible sequence this year, and I had to be like, yeah, I know. How are you feeling about Julian in general right now?
Tremendous. Like one of the things I asked Jamal was about Julian. I asked him specifically, like, because he has had so much faith in Julian and his skill set and just that he needs the opportunity. And he reiterated that tonight, that basically you just need the opportunity. You just need something. You good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just need the minutes. You need the consistency. You need the role in order to feel comfortable in those situations. And Julian hadn't always had that. And so bouncing in and out of the rotation, and really he was mostly out while the Nuggets had all of their guards and wings that were available. Then Cam Johnson went down, and then Christian Braun went down, of course, and you start to trend into, hey, we need another wing. We need somebody else who could score, need somebody else who can shoot and who could just do anything with the basketball. Tonight, he did a lot with the basketball. I was really impressed. There was not only the 3 that he hit, but also the scramble possession that he had, driving like with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. He could have settled for a 3, immediately drove. I'm pretty sure it was right around. It was either Luka or Reeves. Drove right around them on the right side and banked in a nice runner. And like, look, it's part of his skill set. It is a very refined part of his skill set. It is something that you have valued more than I have throughout this process. For a long time, that shot did not go in. It just didn't. It was something that he really struggled with finding the touch. Now it is going in on a far more consistent rate with the comfort that he's playing with. And he, not only that, just looks more refined defensively. Looks like a player who understands what he's doing and is physical enough and has avoided the silly fouls. Last year in this matchup, he had 4 fouls in 5 minutes in this specific matchup against this specific team. And it was traumatizing for Michael Malone. It was traumatizing for Nuggets fans. Now, he's not fouling. He's playing within himself. He's playing physical defense while showing his hands and doing everything that everybody wants him to do. He's just become a well-rounded wing, and it's really cool to see.
Very happy for Julian Strother. Perez says Jokic's touch is still not there yet. Nikola Jokic was 10 of 15. I don't know what you're expecting. He was 10 of 14 from 2-point range. Like
if that's him not having great touch, I look forward to seeing when the touch is there.
Yeah. Now, if you're talking about the turnovers, again, I'll go back and watch them. There's the first half he had 4, and they were the usual assortment of just like random stuff that happens. There weren't that many that were actually, I don't think, that bad for Yoke. Second half was where it got bad. And that's when he started forcing that pass to Christian on the cut, where I was like losing like my mind. Like I'm sure Vinny Benedetto was like getting ready to like hit me in the back of the head to knock me out to sedate me. Cause I was just like, if he passes to this on this cut one more time, when the weak side, like I'm just watching Julian Strother in the corner. I'm like, he's wide open.
Hey,
he's wide open. And now after the game, I did ask this question to Yoke, and I want to personally thank Nikola Jokic because he gave me a really good answer on this. And I purposefully got on Yoke's bad side by asking him about best player on the team stuff for a couple of years, and that's okay. I chose that route because I felt like it was important to keep asking that question for the course of his career. But he gave me a really good answer tonight because I asked him about the low block stuff and about how he used to be able to hit that wraparound whip pass, or either way, like he could go over his shoulder to his left if he's on the left block, or the wraparound with his right. And we haven't seen it hardly at all in what I feel like a long time. And I was just kind of curious if teams had kind of scouted that and had started putting themselves in that kind of position, and why that's become a little bit of a harder pass for him. Because to me, it's my favorite pass that he makes is when he nails that pass past multiple defenders right in the corner pocket for a 3. I'm just like, that's the best offense you're ever going to find. Yeah. Is force help with a great post threat, punish it with a picture perfect ball reversal to the weak side corner. That to me is like perfect basketball. That is like my version of perfect basketball. And one of the things that he kind of talked about was like, it really kind of depends on, he's like, there's so many things that you have to consider. It's not just who's guarding, it's who's guarding me, who's the guy guarding on that other side, how tall are they, how big are they, where are they positioned? Like it's all of these factors that go into it. He's like, it's also, am I way deep underneath the basket or am I higher up? And like all of those kind of factors go into it. And he kind of talked about that, and it was a good answer. I do think that they've got to get to more positions where he's able to make that pass because of how these teams are flooding that zone versus him. They are just like, there's so many people now. The teams that are doing this with the small defenders being like, hey, what if we put somebody that's smaller on him, try and front him? They didn't front as much tonight, which I think is interesting. I wonder, that is one of the things that kind of I am stuck with Ryan is like, how much did they push the buttons here? Because they didn't front as much as they usually do. But I also wonder if some of that was the DeAndre Ayton thing.
It's possible. Can I give you a theory on why I don't think, like certainly in a lot of the mechanisms that the Nuggets have used lately, they haven't been throwing that pass over to the weak side corner. When I think about that spacing and I think about what the Nuggets usually do in those situations, you have Murray or somebody on the strong side for the post entry, and then they rotate up to the slot. Then you have somebody on the opposite slot. Then you have somebody on the baseline, and then you have somebody in the corner. Usually, when you get that pass to the corner is when you have help over from the dunker spot, and then you get that guy rotating over. You get the corner guy rotating down to the dunker, but then you also get the opposite slot cutting down vertically into the lane. And that person cuts down vertically. And a lot of times that takes the guy who's responsible for the corner, it takes their eyes. And they look at that and they look with their eyes and they're thinking, okay, that is where the pass is. That is where the cut is. And then Jokic throws it right over the top of that cut, right into the opposite corner. And that's not always the way that it happens, but it's the way that I envision it in my mind. And so when you've got Christian in the corner, or in the short corner, as opposed to Aaron, Christian's the guy, or Aaron would be the guy who would usually be cutting from the opposite slot. Like you don't have, like it's Julian in this case most of the time. It's either Julian or Cam Johnson or somebody of that nature. And Cam can do it. And he has actually done it a couple times to kind of cut and then sacrifice himself so that the opposite pass corner is there. But Denver's playing so small and they don't have the athletic cutters right now that I'm sure that that's probably part of the answer. If you have Aaron, I do think it looks a lot simpler, whether he's in that vertical space or whether he's in that short corner taking up so much attention there.
Coming up, we'll tell you why I think this is such a big win for them and what it could mean for them as far as having a moment finally in a season where somebody had been bad moments. Plus, we'll look ahead to the next game coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Welcome to the 5-hour energy flavor draft. With 18 flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy, there's something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5-hour energy flavor draft. Tonight, I am going to go with Hawaiian Breeze. Feel the breeze, taste the caffeine. Made with passion fruit, orange, and guava flavors. It's sweet yet smooth, tangy yet tart. I'm on a big Hawaiian, like tropical kick. I've been getting that in a lot of different things that I get, the smoothies and whatnot. And the 5-hour energy Hawaiian Breeze is unbelievable. It is so refreshing. It is like sitting on a Hawaiian beach. You're just going to feel like you're there. And then you're going to have the energy to get through the rest of your day. If we're talking about the sleeper pick, about Tropical Burst. Tasty caffeine with those island vibes. Delicious combination of pineapple and apricot flavors. Juicy, but sweet, but with a light tang. Smooth and a rounded flavor. Bright and sunny is what you're going to taste when you taste that one as well. So many great flavors for you to try. Find your new favorite flavor of 5-hour energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. We're also brought to you today by Gametime. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena, the crowd, the energy, the moment, like the moment the Nuggets had tonight versus the Lakers. Getting tickets, though, well, that part's not always so simple. That's why Gametime has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs with the fans, and you can get in and see your Denver Nuggets. And if you're in the building tonight, that means that you get to watch all of the sad Lakers fans, all of whom who are definitely not all transplants. There's not that many. Walk out in very, very sad fashion tonight, just mumbling and grumbling and feeling sad. You can pull up the Gametime app, pick an upcoming NBA game, and have tickets locked in within minutes. You're going to see the all-in price up front, no hidden fees, and the zone deals are great. You choose the section, and Gametime picks the seats you save. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. Finally, we're brought to you today by TurboTax. Tax time. But for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment, that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. The TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day, so you can check in without having to stop and spend more time on your taxes. It's a relief walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Appreciate you guys being with us. Somebody asked if I'm a transplant, Well, that's obviously not true, as I'm a transplant. I'm just saying they're not from California. There's a lot of fans. I just want to say this. If you live in Denver and you're just like, I'm going to be a Denver Nuggets fan because I'm from Denver and I love Colorado. Like, that's how it should be. Like, that's how it should go. And before the Jokic era, it was not easy. You were taking on a life of like, oh man, this franchise has never won a title. They are constantly the butt of jokes. They are constantly being disrespected. No one talks about them. They are no one in town talks about them because all they talk about is the Broncos. Like, you took on, like, that was hard. If you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan, there was a lot of pain in your life before Giannis came around. There's been a lot of pain, honestly, the last couple of years. Like, that's hard. The Oklahoma City Thunder, you got a brand new shiny franchise, but you also dealt with like all of the pain and misery of those years of coming up just short with KD and Westbrook and Russ. Like, that's hard. You're never going to get a star free agent. They're not going to sign with you. You know what it takes to be a Lakers fan? Nothing. It takes nothing. You're just basically like, how can I have the easiest life possible as a sports fan? Yay! So I just want to give a shout out to every Denver Nuggets fan because you actually have gone through the process of earning something that is worth celebrating being a sports fan.
Great.
So Tim Hardaway Jr. was really good tonight. I want to talk about that too. I think that Tim just continues to be like where the Nuggets have been this season without him. Like he and Julian combined for 32 points tonight. Tim 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Just really good minutes, I thought, from Tim Hardaway Jr.
Pretty sure it was 6 minutes in the first 45 seconds of the fourth quarter because he hit a 3 and then he got a 3-shot foul. Actually, no, it was 5 points because he did miss a free throw. But no, it was again, like he just continues to find the times where you need to make a shot and you need to step up in a situation. He was perfectly happy to do so. It's a tough matchup to have to go up against Luka and LeBron and Reeves and guys like that. But I mean, I thought that Denver's wings as a whole handled that well. Tim was obviously out there in a lot of those situations guarding those guys. I don't think it was the primary assignment, but like Denver got switched and cross-matched in a lot of situations and had to sink down and help and do everything that they could. So he just continues to be smart. It is so clear to me, Matt, that he is so invested in getting a ring this year. Like he is very, very invested in this part of the process because he thinks it's possible, because a lot of these guys think it's possible. But Tim, I think, is probably the hungriest veteran in terms of wanting it and seeing an opportunity and hoping to capitalize on it. So I really appreciated that about him and what he has provided to this Nuggets team.
Jonas won his minutes +1, baby. I was very excited.
Let's go. No Jokic and Val tonight. I'm surprised that they didn't go that direction at all.
I thought they would too. I thought they would go double big and they would zone. Instead, they played Zeke Naji, who we will credit here because you're going to have to hear all about him tomorrow on Boom and Gloom.
No, I'm doing the rundown, so I don't think we will.
As Zeke Naji goes for 5 points, 2 of 4 shooting, 5 rebounds, could have been 10. If certain,
I'm. You know what? No, I'm not even going to do it tonight.
Yeah, 1 assist, 1 steal, and a plus/minus of 0. Zeke was fine. Zeke was like totally fine. Did his work. Tough assignment on Luka a lot of time. Really tough assignment on LeBron. Had to play because they don't have any forwards.
To give credit to Swipa, Matt, like this is exactly what he envisioned with that. He didn't envision like crazy numbers. He didn't envision massive amounts of impact or anything like that. Just the size and the physicality and the versatility on the wing and the forward spot to at least give Denver another look, to give their smaller guys a time to breathe and that they weren't so overextended from a size perspective from the entire game. Now, I will say, in counter to that, like Denver, when they went small tonight, was also pretty good. Like they were just fine when they had the 4-guard lineups, because I mean, you look at it, if Zeke was a net neutral on the plus/minus, like all of the other minutes featured 4-guard lineups tonight. And so they were +7 in those other minutes. So I don't think it's a death knell by any stretch of the word, but Zeke can play. And so that's a good thing that they found.
Okay. So I think this was a moment for them. And I've been looking for this kind of a moment. And you want like multiple moments. Like the Pistons have had so many good moments, right? The Spurs have had so many good moments. Tonight was another one when they beat the Pistons. They beat the Jazz barely. But we were like, okay, a win's a win. Like it gets you off the snide. And we were like, that's a bad win. And this was the game that I was kind of like, they need to get this one. Like if they lose this one, you are on this losing streak and all you have is like you barely beat the Jazz. But now you've won 2 clutch games in a row, regardless of how bad the Jazz are. You've won 2 clutch games in a row. You have even the season series with the Los Angeles Lakers. You are entering the last really tough density schedule stretch of the season. You are going to face tough teams the rest of the way, but this is a 5-8 that they've got with this game tomorrow night going through next week's game, the 2-game set versus Houston and San Antonio. Once you get through that, you have at least a day of rest on almost all the games. You have 2 days rest occasionally, and they're almost all at home.
Yeah.
You have very little travel. You have more rest. So you have a better opportunity in a lot of these games. That next week is going to be the toughest one. I predicted on today's show, they're going 6-1 in this stretch, this next 7 games. And Ryan thinks I am insane.
I mean, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to expect from them. And like, you're not expecting, I mean, I guess you are expecting it, but like, uh, I don't expect it from them because some of these teams are really good. Like they're going to be really good that they face. And the Lakers aren't, they don't qualify. Like this is a game that Denver, of course, got up for because they care about this matchup and because the Lakers are talented and because it's just like this matchup. But I do think that some of the teams that Denver's going to be facing going forward, especially on the second night of a back-to-back, like tomorrow, and when you listen to it today against the New York Knicks, like that's a tough one. That's a tough one to have to find against and find another rhythm there. So I'll be curious to see how they handle it.
They're going 1-1 versus Thunder Knicks. That's my prediction. They're going to sweep the Houston San Antonio back to back. I do not think that San Antonio's win over them back in December was representative, especially because I think they're back to full health next week. So,
I mean, and San Antonio also started Cornette in that game, who's just a more impactful center than Wemby.
What is wrong with you? You're going to hate, you will grow to hate Wemby. Swipa swears he will never hate Wembanyama, and he is lying through his teeth. One playoff series.
That dude falls down a lot, man.
Yeah. One playoff series, and Nuggets fans will come to hate Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Look, this next game is honestly the one I worry about the most. They have had their number. It's Cat, who has been really tough cover for Denver since the minute, like, he's turned a corner and he's played really well versus the Nuggets.
Brunson too. Like Brunson, I think, is the driver of that, where he's so quick and so dynamic with the ball in his hands, and also really smart in terms of making the right pass and making the right read, that wherever Denver brings help, whether it's off of Towns or off of OG Anunoby or off of whoever, like, they are going to generate good shots, or Brunson's going to get a good shot himself or get to the free throw line. So Denver, again, like they had a really good defensive night tonight against a very tough offensive team to stop. Now it's on to, okay, can you do the same thing against the Knicks on the second night of a back-to-back? Fortunately, Matt might be getting some reinforcements for tomorrow.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about that on today's show, and you and Swipe will talk about it in detail tomorrow once AG is like, AG's playing tomorrow. Like, I just go ahead and let you know. Okay, he's playing tomorrow.
He looked very comfortable warming up tonight.
I have a feeling. I'll just say my gut feeling is they win tomorrow, and I don't know why, because usually I look at that Knicks game and I'm like, that's such a bad matchup for them. I actually think it's Mitchell Robinson's rebounding that's the real problem. It's the double big look. Yeah. But I think the vibes are going to be incredible tomorrow night with AG back. I'm bummed I'm not going to be there, but I've got family stuff going on. So
can we hit on the positive, like, indicator a little bit, because like it feels like this is a moment, like could be a moment. We don't want to put the cart fully before the horse.
Could be,
but we were pretty encouraged the way that this went, and just Jokic was very happy, or like as happy as you're going to see Jokic in a post game presser. Murray was in a pretty reasonable mood. Adelman was very happy about the way things went. Seems like the locker room was in a pretty good spot. This team, I've said this before, that they need some motivation, and it's pretty clear that based off of the teams that they get up for defensively, like when they get up for the good teams, they get up for the good teams defensively, and all they're going to play as good teams going forward is something that you had made mention when we were leaving the arena tonight.
So I'm being accused of jinxing them. I would just say I was the one that called them coming back from 3-1 versus the Clippers. And I called them winning tonight. Like, I'm not 100%, but I have a pretty good sense for when things turn, I will say, with this team. I feel like I have a better sense of some of that sometimes, honestly. Like, no offense to you. I feel like I have a little bit better one just because you're typically like, yeah, I don't know, things are so bad all the time. And so I feel like there is a turn. I feel like something is turning for this team. And maybe that's wishful thinking and copium, but I really do believe it.
I've always felt that way with when AG would come back, but it's interesting. You and I both made mention of this, that like they have to save themselves without Aaron Gordon. They have to save themselves without Peyton Watson. They have to play good basketball before those guys get back. And they very possibly have. Like, it's actually kind of interesting that the defensive runs that they have made and the defensive improvements that they have made, in especially at the half court, David Adams has been very happy about, or at least like certainly outwardly happy to the media with. So it's interesting. This is this potentially the start of something really good. I'm very excited about it.
We hit everything? I think we hit everything. Okay. I look forward to tomorrow getting aggregated by Lakers fans. I don't really care. Yeah. Stay out of Ryan's mentions though. Leave him alone.
Honestly, I've just disconnected from Twitter for the most part, so it's okay.
Hope you guys have yourselves a great day. Swipe and Ryan will be with you tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Eastern for their show. Then we'll be around tomorrow night. I will have your solo show tomorrow night as Ryan will be at the arena, so I will handle your post game. And then we will be into the weekend, and then we will be back on Sunday night for No Jinx. Appreciate you guys being with us. Have yourselves a great night. Enjoy a Friday after a win over the Lakers. We'll see you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets. Take that L on the way out.
Lakers.